both the Brother SE400 as well as the Brother PE500, they're both considered entry-level embroidery machines. They're both quite similar when it comes to the embroidery side. What are the benefits of owning an entry-level embroidery machine? Let's go through them. Personally, I absolutely love these little machines. There are so many benefits to purchasing and owning them that it would take me a while to go through them all. So I tried to pick out some of the better features so that I can share them with you. Number one, because they're entry-level machines, Brother was very kind to us embroiderer or the hobbyists by allowing these machines to have an entry-level price. Now, each machine, well, this one in particular actually is still available in the Walmart stores. Now, this machine has an asking price of about $300 in the Walmart stores. The Brother PE500 was also available in the Walmart market. However, I haven't seen it there lately. So I'm assuming that they just decided to go ahead and just utilize this particular model because it has a dual purpose. And it would seem that more people would be willing to use it because you can use it for either sewing or embroidery. So it's such a flexible machine at such a great price. And actually the PE500, which is only embroidery, was about the same price. So you're getting more bang for your buck out of this particular little machine. The other aspect of this machine is, aside from the sewing, now we're not going to cover any part of the sewing on this machine because of me. I do embroidery. I also sew. However, because I do so much embroidery, I only use this strictly for embroidery. I have a completely separate dedicated sewing machine for sewing. So this is only for embroidery. Now, the 4x4 hoop is the standard size for this machine, and it really isn't a lot of space. However, on your smaller projects, such as baby clothes or little hand towels, this is perfect. So a lot of it depends upon exactly what you intend to be embroidering on. The other thing that's quite interesting with the Brother, it also allows for you to use a multi-positional hoop. These are aftermarket hoops. However, Brother, I do believe, sells these as well. I'll leave a link for this particular hoop. This hoop I got off of Amazon.com. So I'll leave a link below where you can purchase this hoop. And it's a multi-positional hoop, as I have mentioned. And the actual size on this hoop is 4 by about 6.5 inches. So it's not much bigger than that hoop. However, the amount of a name, for instance, which is what more people embroider than just about anything, is names and monograms. So the name, you can fit a much longer name in this size hoop than you would be able to do with this particular hoop. Now, as far as larger pictures, then you wouldn't quite be able to fit those in here. This hoop actually is beneficial for some type of design that you need that it will at least fit 4 inches, whether lengthwise or width, and you can go longer to the 6.5 inches, whether it be by length or width. So for instance, I use this to put just a smidge larger baby name and a small picture up above it, or if it's a first and last name, then this hoop comes in handy for that. And it has these extra nodules here that clamp into the bracket on the machine. And notice the 4x4 has 2, whereas this one has 4. And what this does is allow you to snap these 2 in. So this first set of nodules could be position 1, then using this nodule and that one is position 2. And then using these last two would be position 3 to allow you to stretch it out and embroider much longer embroidery designs with this hoop. So you do have flexibility. Just because the machine itself says that you're limited to 4x4, well, not necessarily. The other part to this machine that I like is I love the maintenance. The maintenance on this machine is simple. I was fortunate enough to where I have a sewing machine repairman that comes to me, and he is fantastic when it comes to upkeep and maintenance on my equipment. He's also very kind in that he tells me how to do a lot of the routine maintenance myself, mainly because he knows that I'm actually technically savvy and I do like to take things apart and see how things work. So he was kind enough to show me what all I can do and what all I shouldn't do with the embroidery machine. Now, I can go through a few of these with you. There are 2 screws here for this metal plate, the strike plate on the embroidery machine. If you take off these 2 screws, then it will open up the entire bobbin area. Now, before you do that, this actual plastic plate here that holds the bobbin, it's very easy to remove. You just pull it forward towards you until it clicks and lift it up out of place. And here's the plastic piece that fits where you thread your bobbin and hold your bobbin in. So this actually opens up the area where your bobbin case is and where your feed dogs are, which on this machine, this has feed dogs because it's a sewing machine as well. But on the PE500, it doesn't have feed dogs. So up under here, it still opens up to where your bobbin case is. Now, a lot of times when your machine gets jammed up with thread, possibly due to upper tension issues, well, your thread will jam up down here. So there's a couple of things you can do after you panic a little bit, which after this, you shouldn't have to panic anymore. So what we'll do is go ahead and take these 2 screws out, and I'll put the camera a little bit closer so that you can see exactly how this works. Your embroidery machine came with some tools. This is one tool here. It's a black screwdriver with a flat indentation at the top of it. Now, this particular screwdriver is what you use to take your needle out. So when it's time to change the needle, you just put it down here in the flat part of the screw and twist it forward to take the needle out. And of course, you twist it towards the back to tighten it. Taking out the needle is quite simple, but this little tool here is used to help you take off the strike plate. So what you do is you put it here and turn your screws. You can either use the side of it or you can use the flat part, whatever it is that gets you comfortable being able to turn the screw. Let us take the plate off. Let's see what you're working with. And here's your strike plate. So here is where a lot of your thread will get entangled. Your feed dogs are here with, now this is, again, this is the SE400. The PE500 does not have the feed dogs. So with the exception of this, a lot of the rest of this looks exactly the same. Well, here's your bobbin case. Here are your feed dogs. And of course, these are all your moving parts in here that get the bobbin to turning, so it will allow the embroidery machine to stitch. Well, you can actually pull this bobbin case out. Now, if you note on here, there's a white arrow that shows where to line up your bobbin case. When you go to put it back in the machine, it goes over here to the right under this screw, and it has to nestle in there just so to avoid the machine not operating correctly. Now down in here is, and if we turn the handle on the embroidery machine, turn the knob, you see that's twisting side to side. When you turn your knob, all of the moving parts that you see in here need oil. That keeps your machine running smoothly. Also, it collects a lot of lint and fibers in here from the fabric, because you got to understand that needle in the embroidery is constantly shedding fibers and lint down in this area. So what you need to do is get either some compressed air for those who are uncomfortable with it. I was told I could use compressed air by my repairman, or you can use a fine brush and get in there and brush out a lot of the fibers and the dust to help keep this dust free. It makes a difference. It really makes a difference. If you've been using your machine for a while, and I'll say 6 months, and you haven't done this, take a moment to do it. Give it a good little bit of oil and run your machine again, and I guarantee you it will sound completely different. It will sound like a brand new machine. It will hum right along, because these machines, we use them and the dust and lint that gets in there absorbs some of the oil. Using it absorbs some of the oil, and you want it to run like a well-oiled machine. I mean, you take your car in after every so many thousand miles to get an oil change. Why? To keep your car running in its peak condition. Well, the same goes with this embroidery machine. So down here in this little channel inside the ridge, you want to add a little bit of oil. I don't know how well you can see that. Let me see if you can see a little bit better. There is one raised surface here. There's a little channel in and around it, and then a black magnetic looking area here. And then the rest of the bobbin track down in here in that channel is where you really want to concentrate some oil down there. Any of these moving parts, any of the other moving parts in here, you grab your bottle of oil and you just add a drop or two, just to get something down in there. A little bit of lubrication. It doesn't take much, just a couple of drops in where parts move. And what it does is help the machine keep running nice and smooth. So once you dusted it out and you've oiled your moving parts and you made sure that there's no extra lint in these areas or string, you look for any stray pieces of thread, embroidery thread, and you clean all of that out. Once you do that, then you put your bobbin case back. And remember, there's that white marker here, and we want to make sure that that's up under that lip. So we're going to slide that up under there, and we're going to get that nestled right in the channel where it's supposed to be. And when you do this, it shouldn't move around much at all. So look at how that's situated, and it spins in this little channel. So you want to make sure that it's moving freely, and put it back in place. And that's pretty much all it is to this part down here. You have to do the routine maintenance. You really do, because if you don't, the machine will not last for you. You don't want to abuse your machine. So what we do at this point is put everything back. It's oiled, it's clean. So we're going to put this back. Now that that plate is back and you can't move it around anymore, and your screws, you don't over tighten those, you just tighten them, just barely tighten them, then we can take this plate, put it back to where it's overlapping here, and then push it back up into place. And there you have an oiled machine, and we can put your bobbin back in. And again, your bobbin has to come over the top like toilet tissue. Put it down in there and thread your bobbin. Okay, once that's done, we put our clear case top lid back on, and there you have it. Before we move on to the next, I'm going to cap this so that if it knocks over, we won't have to worry about it. And now we're going to investigate this part of the machine. Now, a part of the routine maintenance is oiling what goes on up here as well, because there are a lot of moving parts that operate up in this section to get your needle moving up and down. So we're going to look up here. Now, in order to access this part of the machine, there's just one screw. Remove this. There's one screw that we have to get to, and that's right here. Okay, that takes just a Phillips head screwdriver, and we go in there and loosen it. You don't have to take this screw all the way out. Just loosen it just enough where it's out past the actual thing, and as you see, it comes right off. Sorry about that. I collected dust back there. So this is, as you see, this is the inside of the SE400, and here is just the cover with your machine. Your threader lever is on the inside of here, so we're going to set that to the side. And here are all of your machine embroidery mechanisms. Here's the needle threader. Here are the gears that get your machine going, and here's your where you thread your needle. So what you do is look down in there, and you see all your little moving parts. Now, all of those parts that you see that move need oil there. So there are crevices, there are channels, there are little areas, and all it takes, again, just like down below, one drop of oil in each little area. Now, if you do too much oil, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it will be as far as your embroidery is concerned, because oil will go down and get in the area there you want to oil, also where the needle goes up and down. Anything that moves, you want to put oil there so that you'll have smooth operation. And then that's it. That's all that is to it. Make sure you don't see any threads, loose threads, rogue threads that are caught up in there anywhere. A lot of the dust and lint doesn't usually accumulate up here. It might. If it does, then just blow that out, or use a fine brush and brush it out for those who don't wish to use compressed air. And that's it. This is, I mean, it's not scary. It's not really scary. It just takes a little bit of patience and some know-how of how to take a screw off rather. And you just put this back on. Now, I always have trouble lining this up and getting it back on, but once it's there, you'll know it fits in place. And the screw, we never took it all the way out, so we're going to tighten that screw back in. And that's that. As far as the maintenance is concerned with the SE400. After considering everything with the machine, showing you how pretty easy it is for routine maintenance, considering the entry-level price, very affordable. Also, the multi-use function with this particular version of the machine, the SE400, how it can be a sewing machine and an embroidery machine, as well as a multi-hoop option where you can actually go larger than the 4x4 size. Not by much, but it's enough to actually really make a difference in the options that you have for embroidery. I would really like to encourage you that if you're interested in embroidery and you're not sure whether or not you'll like it or not, this would be a very good machine to try it out on. A lot of embroidery machines will land you $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and up. And yes, it's worth the investment if you are able to invest that much in an embroidery machine. However, if you don't have that much to invest, or if you're not really sure if you're really going to enjoy doing embroidery, go with the cheaper alternative. It's a good little machine. It really is. And I've had a lot of fun with this. That's why I have 3 of them. I'm only showing 2, but I have 2 of these and one PE500. These machines haven't let me down. They really haven't. I would definitely recommend this to anyone who maybe has a youngster that would be interested in doing embroidery. It's a small investment, so why not let them enjoy? And also, the low price of this machine allows for you to be able to stock up on a lot of the other things that come with embroidery. You have to have your different colors of threads. You have to have your different types of stabilizer, because not all stabilizer is the same, and not all stabilizer works with all projects. So I'm trying to go through in my head to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything that I wanted to let you know about the SE400 or the PE500. And at this moment, I can't think of anything. No, I can't think of anything. So you guys, I will leave a link in the description below on where you can get your own SE400 or your own PE500, and you can make that choice. I will also leave a link below on where to get your multi-positional hoops. I don't know why I can't talk tonight. A little bit tired. Got my grandbaby here for the weekend, so I'm a little bit tired. Multi-positional hoops. I'll leave a link below of where you can get that. Also, I'll leave a link below where you can get you a little bottle of oil to maintain the maintenance on your machine. I'll also leave a link for some stabilizer options, some very good stabilizer options off of Amazon.com. So I hope you enjoyed the video today in going over the PE500 and the SE400. Thanks again for stopping by and watching our video. If you enjoyed our video, please subscribe to our channel. Our goal is to provide quality videos that help influence your love of embroidery and or sewing. And we want to be sure that everyone has an enjoyable experience and get some instruction out there to make it more pleasurable. Also, you can like this video and it will allow you easy access to get back to it if you need a refresher on how to do the maintenance and upkeep on your own SE400 or PE500 embroidery machine. So I want to thank you again for coming by, and until next time, happy embroidering. Click here to subscribe to our channel. Click here to view other videos in our tutorial playlist. And click here for the next video that you should find helpful. Thank you.